best Necromancer build for Season 27 Diablo 3 for the Blood Nova build. So there's actually two different builds for Necromancer. We're just going to be focusing in on the Nova, the Blood Nova, the trag'oul Necromancer for this video, but both of them are very, very good, and they could be argued that they are the best. They're basically the same in terms of push, at least at the moment of me making this video for the season. So starting right off, how does the build play? What do you do with your skills, and what does it look like? We'll have two different build guides that you can swap in and out depending on your playstyle as well as your preference, but for the most part, this is basically how the build runs. You're going to be using Blood Rush. You're going to go right up to the enemies. You're going to get that potency effect, so you get increased armor, and then what you're going to do is just keep on siphoning blood. That will make it so you're going to be able to benefit off of the new Sanctified angelic power, with the secondary where it says hitting enemies with Death Nova 5 consecutive times adds a spirit that attacks an enemy. Every 5th cast of Death Nova, up to 3 spirits can be sent at a time. And then also with Fury Pick, you do get a bonus with this, but that's not with the Sanctified power. Now keep in mind, you can only get one Sanctified power, but I've marked several different items that you can use to sanctify that I would recommend. So first off, one of the best things to sanctify, because you can sanctify whatever thing that you want. Remember, you can only have one of these though. But the reason why I really recommend doing it on Crispin's Sentence, or you can technically cube your Crispin's Sentence and then run Royal Ring of Grandeur, but it's because the Crispin's Sentence effect gets tripled in stats, and if you have a low roll on it, that gets tripled 3 times. So definitely think about that when you are rolling for your Sanctified power. You can also throw on your Phylactery, your offhand for the Necromancer. That's another option as well. But for the most part, that's the most important things with the new season. So remember, you can only choose one, so just place it wherever you would like to. Though obviously the weapon is going to be most popular. Another thing that's really important with this build is actually getting some attack speed. Usually that might be a little bit different than most builds, but attack speed can be very valuable for the Necromancer here, as you don't really need to run cooldown reduction on any pieces of your gear, which is a little bit different than most Diablo builds. So like I said, Blood Rush, and you're just going to siphon blood, activate the effects. You're going to have Simulacrum, and that's so you can create a duplication of yourself, and then it'll spam your skills. Frailty, you don't even need to do anything with it. It just activates. Just walk in range and just curse enemies for free. Very, very nice. Then we're running Bone Armor with Dislocation. Activate this when you see elite packs or when it's on your correct rotation of the Convention of Element cycle, which in this case it will be physical. You're going to stun them. That's going to activate your Crispin Sentence to get massive damage. And then, of course, with your Death Nova, you're running Blood Nova. So that's, in terms of the skills, that's kind of how it plays. Basically, just siphon blood, walk up to things, siphon blood, and you'll just see these Novas explode, and you're going to have massive amounts of damage. In terms of the passive, we have Spreading Malediction, so we get extra damage when we curse enemies. Standalone, because this is not really a minion build here, so it's more survivability. Then you can run Swift Harvesting. This increases the attack speed, which is essentially going to be activating your every nth cast a little bit faster. And then we have Eternal Torment, just so we can activate Dainty's Binding. If you want to, there's actually several different options here. So we don't have to play with Eternal Torment. You can run the Cheat Death one, which is called Final Service, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, because Necromancer, it's a little bit of a squishy class. I also like Dark Reaping. Depending on the difficulty tier that you're at, this can actually be pretty helpful just for that life on kill. That way you don't have to even look at your potion. It just adds a little bit to the build, which is quite nice, especially since you're going to be stacking a lot of vitality with this build, because that's kind of how the trag'oul set works. So keep in mind, those are kind of optional here. Now, if you want to, you can run the Guardian set. This is great earlier on, but most builds will eventually swap into guilds. I've seen some people even use Captain Crimson's as well, but keep in mind, you're going to have to try to put Dainty's Binding somewhere, as Necromancer is kind of a squishy clash, but with the Guardian set, it does definitely help out quite a bit. You can also opt not to run a plus life gem, and you can run vitality if you are running the Guardian set, because remember, this gives you that additional bonus on the base stats, so think about that as well. But in terms of the build, they're very similar. In terms of the playstyle, there's not really any difference in terms of the skills. But in terms of what you do want to run inside of the cube, you wanting to run Bloodtide Blade. So it's Death Nova deals 400% increased damage for every enemy within 25 yards, up to 25 enemies, so just massive amounts of damage. You can run Mantle of Channeling. You can equip it if you want to. Again, that's if you want to run the Guardian set. You might just cube it. But Mantle of Channeling, excellent. Gives you more damage as well as damage reduction. And then Royal Ring of Grandeur, because, of course, we're running the 6-piece set of the trag'ouls. So, speaking of the trag'ouls, what do you want to look for in terms of rolls? It's a pretty standard Diablo build. Crit chance, crit damage, and area damage are all excellent choices. However, with this, ideally, you actually do get attack speed. Like I said, in your weapon, you can get it in your gloves as well. That can actually be a pretty good stat. Royal Ring of Grandeur actually always rolls with attack speed guaranteed, so you can even run Royal Ring of Grandeur and then cube your Convention of Elements if you happen to roll a great one. For once, I will actually say running Royal Ring of Grandeur in the equipment slot is actually good, but usually it's because most build wants to roll off. But again, because of the way that it works, it's every 5th cast activates it, so that's why attack speed is great in this build. But you can get area damage just like normally if you would want to, and you're also going to be looking for Death Nova damage. That's going to be in your helmet as well as your boots, but nothing too spectacular in terms of like different things that are special that you need to roll on. In terms of the gems, for the legendary gems, we're running Bane of the Trap, we're running the Zaysuan of Vengeance. This is specifically, even though you're going to be close, it does more damage at range. You just want to potentially stun that enemy. That's going to activate your Crisp and Sentence for that 100% increased damage bonus that gets tripled if they are affected by 2 different things. And you'll always be slowing them down because Bane of the Trap is Bane of the Trap. And then if you want, you can run Bane of the Stricken as well for Rift Guardian kills if you're pushing. However, one thing that is important, and people are right now on the top of leaderboards in the top 5, they are playing Invigorating Gemstone. And if you're wondering why, this build, you're going to be going up to targets and you will be basically channeling. And so if they knock you up, it's kind of annoying. So activating Invigorating Gemstone, once you hit it at rank 25, you're immune from control and pairing effects. That's obviously pretty good, and it also increases your healing, but it's mainly there for that awesome ability to be immune to CC, so great for that. Since we are running physical, you want physical where you can get it, which would be, you know, in your amulet as well as your bracers, but again, just crit chance, crit damage is what you're looking forward to on every single piece of gear, just like, again, it's more of a generic Diablo build. However, in terms of the gems, you're going to be running ones that will grant you intelligence, so that's going to be topazes. I have seen some people try to stack life because the way that the trag'oul set works is it makes it so while you're at full life, healing from skills is added to your maximum life for 45 seconds, up to 300 more. So stacking more life just gives you more life like than you would normally get, if that kind of makes any sense, because it gets multiplied. There's actually some cool ideas that I might actually try with life heal per second with a Death's Bargain build, but that'll be maybe a later video for another day, because you can stack an insane amount of life with this. We're talking in the millions, which is not normally something that people do in Diablo. But yeah, you can stack pretty high. But again, you can run Mental Channeling or you can cube it, run Dainty's Body. Again, this is just 2 different variations, and I'll link them both of them down below. But now what's interesting, if you want to not run the Guardian set, you can just throw in extra vitality in your helm. You don't even actually need a socket for once, so if it rolls pretty good, you can just roll off the socket if you want to get whatever extra stat that you need. Normally in Diablo, you always want sockets in your build. Specifically in the helm, you would want cooldown reduction, but you don't need any cooldown reduction in this build. So that pretty much covers it in terms of the gameplay and everything. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Have fun playing the Necromancer, and I'll be dropping another video of the other best Necromancer build, because like I mentioned, there's basically 2 best builds for the Necromancer, and these are just 2 different like variants of the like best ways that you can play it. But thanks for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and do want to see more Diablo videos, subscribe, turn the bell to see more Diablo and other action RPGs and more gaming stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.